Hi, it's Snorgle. Welcome back to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Or, I guess now it's just Stanley Parable 2. We're getting close to the end of the game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Sure as heck is.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Indeed.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, good for Stanley.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
You don't say.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Here we go. So there's a couple of things left I need to do.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps. Anyway, there's a couple of things I want to do. I think that was gone for a while. That was curious. Okay, Bucket, I need you.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Okay, something I want to do here, which is there's a couple of endings that I haven't gotten
Stanley
with the bucket.
put the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
I'm trying to find the way to sort of cheese your way out of the thing, and I can't quite figure it out. There we go. We have not done this with the bucket, so let's go ahead and do it with the bucket. See if it's any different.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone.
But you are the narrator. You're not fooling me for a second.
Reveal to you my true self.
You're not scared.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history.
Okay.
Of the countless
Lore.
wrongs it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein. Of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay.
I don't believe it.
If only it had been stronger. Of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception.
I don't believe it.
This was way too much for Stanley.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
I wouldn't talk to the bucket that way.
Bucket?
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
It doesn't have a brow. It's a bucket.
Said the bucket.
Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults.
What?
I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this
Huh.
time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket
Uh-oh.
revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power.
Yeah?
Its fangs glistening like...
What? 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 What's going on?
My God,
Oh no, what have I done?
you did it. You saved
No.
us from the bucket. Thank God you already had
Bucket?
all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon
No.
their power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power.
This is a trick.
You've demonstrated such bravery here today.
No, Bucket.
Restart the game, and we'll agree to never again
No.
go trifling with this bucket,
No.
nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
No. Bucket. If the bucket's gone, I'm going to be angry.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh,
Go
thank
to the
God.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace.
Oh, whew.
Protective, yet delicate. Assertive, yet
Hey, the things are gone.
passionate.
I'm still not sure what to do with that. Okay, there's another one that I want to do because we haven't done it with the bucket yet. That is,
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
yes. So we're gonna do this.
Still no one was here.
Yeah,
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
down straight,
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
maybe.
Stanley, we must move on from this.
Okay, well you say the same thing every
Simply
time.
because I have no remaining stickers.
That's-
If I did, you coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
And I think there's one more I want to do. Yeah, I already did that one. That was no fun. I mean, it was fine, but it was just not that big of a deal.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Certificate of
Touched by the weight of this revelation, Stanley
Purpose-
may have
I
broken
don't
down
know
into
what
an
that says.
emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's
How do you
warmth
get those
and
books
guiding
up
light
there?
pierce the dark clouds.
Hey, even the manager has a little thing in it, huh?
It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
I'll have to exhaust all the dialogue here. See if there's any more. Don't hear any more, so let's do it.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. 2845.
Nothing? All right, fine. Okay.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by
Oh, I guess I didn't need to do that. Okay.
the hell along with the story.
Okay. We are going to go down, and we're going to do the escape one where we get crushed, because I have not done that with the bucket yet. And I'm super curious. And then there's another one I haven't done without the bucket. And I think that that's all the endings. I missed
Elevator raced down
one ending,
towards an unknown
and I can't get that one again because it's gone forever.
all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him,
Yeah.
reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
Indeed.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
Okay. So the only other one I haven't gotten besides this one.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large
This one?
door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Understood. Huh. All right.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nope.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Perhaps. You never know. Okay. Oh, there we go. Ouch. What happened? Oh, that's right. Okay. Here we go. Moving forward. So the last time we got a museum, and there was a woman who was doing the narration.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort turned out to be.
Come on now, stop that.
Sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
I'm not actually.
Farewell, Stanley.
Hey, come on now. What?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
What? Wait. What? But I just wasn't crushed violently to death.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
Oh, you're trying. Oh!
Glorious bucket.
Is this a tribute to the bucket? Oh, this is the most wonderful thing ever. Holy crap. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full, enriched, substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out into the world with you? Will you accept with an open mind what might be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Oh, bucket, it's good to see you again. Oh my gosh.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
Yeah.
Can you see the hubris that blinded him?
Hubris is kind of my
Can you
brand.
see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Yeah, probably true. Oh, bucket. 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from the exposure to this many buckets at once. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is significantly more than 25 buckets. I wonder what's that way. Let's see. A bucket. Oh, two-handle bucket. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Oh, yeah, we don't want that. That would, oh, man, that's scary to even look at, even to contemplate. That's funny. This is, it's kind of marked off too, huh? What do we have over here? Is this where we came in? Yes, okay. Oh my gosh. Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet, in spite of it all, the simple fact remains. No one can control a bucket. That's like Grandpa bucket. Okay, we go up that way. Let's go up this way. The stress bucket, presented without commentary. The stress bucket, an analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance goes in. Vulnerability equals strength and size of the bucket. Turn up the tap. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Stress equals the level of water in the bucket. So profound. What's this way? Bucket caveman art. Oh my gosh. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Cave drawing. Well, we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind. We do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of a bucket, by which time the bucket had already been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. I like this one capturing it like, oh, it's Chippy, what are we going to do? Oh no, he puts it under and that one's like, hey, dance party. Oh, look at that. Okay, keep going. Anything else in here? No. Okay.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Oh, how true.
It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
It's very profound. Where that light's coming from? Oh, the hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, yet there is one that's always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Let's go. Got it. I thought that was going to be the case.
But there is something we can do.
Oh, what's that?
Something we can do together, you and I,
Neat.
that will right this terrible wrong.
Okay, what's that?
Let
Uh-oh.
Stanley die. Let him
What?
be crushed by the machine.
Wait, nope.
Don't reset the game.
Can I-
Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another
No,
beautiful bucket.
can we talk about this?
Save those buckets from their treatment as tools and implements.
No.
Let Stanley die
I don't-
together.
no, that's-
The bucket shall take its place as ruler,
What?
as leader.
But I'm not a ruler or leader. I'm just a mindless cog. Ouch. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's one more ending that I haven't done without the bucket.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm super glad to see you. I'm not taking you, not because I don't love you or because you're not worthy, but because there's one ending I want to get that that has to be without the bucket. So I'm sorry about that. I really wished that like the last one we could do together. We have to do epilogue too, but I think that's probably going to be the next video. Anyway, sorry, bucket. You're fantastic. I'll see you later. Okay.
When Stanley
I
came
want
to
to go
assess
this
the
one.
two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
It's true, I
perfectly
do.
well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
489. Wait, is that 4B9? Huh. Okay.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
It is quite fabulous. Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope. The one we haven't done yet is...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
The one we haven't done yet is just answering the phone
Look,
and seeing what that happens.
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
No, it's all good.
I'm not your enemy.
I know.
Really.
Well,
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
the bucket?
Someone you've forgotten about.
I have not forgotten about the bucket.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Every decision I make
Not asking
is
for
for the bucket.
I'm asking for her.
You've gendered the bucket?
This is
How
it,
dare you.
Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
I have a feeling he's not talking about the bucket.
That's her,
Hello?
Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Okay, hello.
To reach out to
I'm trying to.
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I'm trying to. There we go. Hello. Stanley here. This is... Wait. Oh.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Oh, I can't go anywhere.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
What?
I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
What? Oh. What?
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? Who would commit their life to you?
Hey.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
No kidding.
I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going
Can I
on.
go down the hallway? I can't.
Sorry.
What?
But you're in my story
What?
now.
How dare you? How dare you? Okay, I don't have a really good feeling about this. Oh, jeez.
This is a very sad story about the death
Hey.
of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee 427. Press 0 on your keyboard. Sure.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow.
Hey.
It's a job that demands nothing of
That's
him.
true.
And every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
I would still say this. I mean, we're just saying press whatever button, but when you look at Stanley's monitor, I've mentioned this before, that they say like press the space bar for 37 milliseconds. I don't know what the tolerance is on that, but that's an impressive skill. Useless, but impressive as heck. Okay, B.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch.
Not really.
Now he's going home.
No, I'm playing a game.
Now he's coming back to work.
Well, that's kind of the way
One
it
might
goes.
even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Okay. Oh, so we pressed OBR. I don't know if that's going anywhere. Wait, that's R.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Okay. I guess B again. Boink.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
Sure.
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
It's very curious.
The thought excited him terribly.
Okay. X.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Okay. Oh.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He called it the Stanley Parable.
Okay, Z.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again. Pushing your hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Oh, tell wife, press J to tell your wife you love her. I love you, mannequin wife. Not really, though. Why is the chair in the middle of the doorway?
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
This does look like my desk. Okay, you to go to sleep, I guess.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer. that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay, but that's... And we'll see what you say, but... I'm trying to see what that clock... What that says on the clock face. Something ink clock quartz. I can't read what the first word says, though. We'll just wait a little bit. I mean, I'm feeling we're not going to get any dialogue because... Okay, fine.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself?
Is someone on hold?
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press G to question nothing.
I suppose I can't in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose.
I think someone's on hold.
Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him.
Okay.
I'm compelled to. I must.
Give it a shot.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
What?
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried...
What? Is that the end? Why did it say please die? I don't like that. Oh, for Pete's sake. I want to just
all of his
double check the bucket.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ah, Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker he would ever...
Oh, it's true. It's very true. I don't understand that. Legit. Anyway, I think this is a pretty good place to end this video. Thank you so much for watching this marvelous, marvelous game, the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. So next time, there is a selection for epilogue from the main menu. And I thought that next time we do that and wrap this up. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time for the actual conclusion of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I'll see you next time.